What is up, mashallah, brothers? Time for part 4 of dealing with female promiscuity. So, this chapter is called The Dark Female Unleashed. We live in an area of unprecedented wealth, technology, and liberalism. Women have access to birth control, condoms, abortion. When does life begin, of course? We often forget about the realities of sex ratios, competition, lesbianism, porn, dating pools, and open hypergamy. Men and the values of men have been replaced by police states, slaughterhouses, and family court. There is a lack of religion, there's a lack of family, there's a lack of fathers, there's a lack of mentors, brothers, there's a lack of morals, values, and ethics, and all these things matter in the end. So, oh, and the simps. There's so many simps. That's maybe the real pandemic. The amount of losers and simps who just So it's not only porn, it's OnlyFans, it's whores, it's sugar babies, it's escorts, it's call girls, it's the huge amounts of sluts and the rampant promiscuity, Men's lust is a curse of God, but it's also a test. And if you as a male are able to overcome this thing, this curse, you will be amazed at the internal power you will generate. It's basically transforming sexual energy into creative energy and real life actualization. I mean, you can literally move mountains if you don't waste it. So, we by now have like 2 or 3 generations of our girls that have been corrupted by 3 or 4 propaganda. Now, I'm not saying this is new, because this happens in every successful civilization. Although the technology of today has completely changed the makeup of the world, and it's not for the better. Who benefits? Well, the government benefits, more taxes, more responsibility, divida y impera, and capitalism, of course, because the entire economy is run by women and by men who work to impress women. So once again, we can blame men for being idiots. So the pool of decent, good women is decreasing because they're actively being destroyed, and girls are stacking up damage, and it only increases because boys give their money, their attention, and their time to these 3 or 4s. Again, men's fault. And women don't need any men anymore. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. The masks are fallen off, and some women really enjoy humiliating men, seeing men suffer, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And to be honest, I've traveled the world and I'm really shocked by what I see sometimes. I'm shocked what these women say. I'm shocked what goes into these women. But I've seen it, and I've just seen it, heard it all around, all over the place. The traveling slutbags. So, for example, if you read Sex at Dawn, the book, or if you read Nancy Friday's Secret Garden, now those are going to be 2 eye-openers. But then again, you just have to go on Pornhub.com and you also see what all these women do. It is insane. It is just insane. So men have to learn to deal with their sexuality, their fantasies, their provocation, their gaslighting, and their pure hubris, As I said, as a man travels and explores, if a man travels, is poor, and explores, what you're going to figure out about the world is worth your weight in gold. So every man should do that to understand the real nature of the world. And he'll see female promiscuity on full display. That's why I'm a fan of saying that only Islam can save us now. Mashallah, brother. The problem is the mosques, the mosques, they have no grace, no style. So if you compare them with the cathedrals of Christianity, I mean, So modern girls, they break down their preservative instincts against casual sex, but they're empowering themselves or making deals with the devil, depends on how you look at it, of course, causing them to be repulsed by good, kind young men who want to commit, and there's basically literally scissoring away their ability to pair bond and form strong families. Well, I guess it makes them feel sexually empowered, so win-win, right? Now, once again, I want to affirm that in a lot of young women, the inner 304 has always been a dominant force, and you can't help it. You can't change them. You just have to let them be and ruin their own life because you can't do anything about it. If you do, they're big, scary men in uniform are gonna come after you and they're gonna put you in jail. And so it's like the nature of the Scorpio, and a lot of young men, they choose to be the frog, carrying the Scorpio over the river, and it does not end well for nobody. Now, in a lot of young men, there is a strong family man, but because they're being fucked over by women again and again and again, they've been bitten again and again. They become jaded, they become fuckboys, and well, we have modern day society, no? So I have to stress this because it goes against the mainstream narrative. For example, the George Floyd case, you have all this boo-hoo-ah about the black man being killed by the police, but there are just as much white men who are being choked out and killed by the police, but you never hear about them. It's how the media portrays the perspective that they want to portray because there's a reasoning behind it. There is a social destabilization behind it. So, without societal and cultural repression of female promiscuity, it's a whole unleashed world out there. For example, men have 9, 8, 10 times the amount of testosterone, and that's basically the hormone that makes you really compulsively horny. Yet, men have always had less access to sex. So who is really sexually repressed? The only difference is women, they just can go out one day, decide I'm going to take 1 or 2 or 3 guys home from the club, which they do, which I've seen, and I've been on both sides. Men cannot do this. They just can't. So who is really repressed? So you have to be aware of gaslighting tactics. And then women will spit at you, yeah, men can do it, so we can too. Well, that's wrong. Freud, for example, they call this penis envy. First off, the large majority of men, let's just say 80%, is a Pareto efficiency, are invisible to women, and only a small of percentage of men dogs can do this, and girls share these men, they want to, and it won't change very soon. Then there's another thing that I forgot to mention a lot earlier. You have the Matthew effect basically states those who have are going to get more, those who have not are going to get less. It's like a scarcity loop, and those things are very important both in economics as in psychology. It's like a personal threshold you have to overcome. For example, a guy who has been bitten a lot is going to always be stuck up and tied up, and he's going to fail even more with girls, while a guy who had randomly success with some girls when he was young, he's going to feel entitled to it, and that entitlement is just going to open doors for him that are not available for others. Be aware of this. So the second argument is that women are completely built differently. There is different biology, there is different psychology, there's different peak years, there's different arousing traits, there is different attractive traits. We all want equality, but we all want quality. But women have evolved to vigorously protect their womb and their reputation. And men are literally designed to sport fuck, not to be monogamous. No, it is men who make this sacrifice. What do we get in return? So, men who fuck around, they gain experience, they gain status, and they are healing themselves from decades of dry spells. And all these traits are inherently attractive to females because it's a hot stallion theory, Every woman wants a son who is attractive to a woman who will spread her genes. People don't think this far ahead, but don't forget that The biological reason of your existence is to pass on your genes. And we are all obsessed by sex and power, even though we will never admit it, because we are civilized human beings and we are above our natural instincts. But it's a scam. So, women, on the other hand, who fuck around, they gain experience, but what they're doing is just basically stacking psychic damage. They stack pregnancies, they stack diseases. And these are things that modern men apparently value. The cuckolds, those guys in their open relationships. Because, who doesn't want to be Captain Save-A-Ho? I'll be the man my father never was. Yeah, I will respect women. So, third, many men initially did not want this promiscuous lifestyle. They want to fall in love, have a family, but they have little choice and their choices are poor. And girls push for this lifestyle, so they've been burned by girls one too much time. Then we have abortion is another argument. If you think it's okay to kill little humans because you couldn't keep your leg closed, well, I guess abortion is an option. So maybe you and I just have a different moral compass. So I'm gonna make a quick spin. It's like a caveat: when women near 30, the age of the wall, a lot of their behavior and thoughts change. This isn't because they become good people, this is because they start feeling that they are losing their sexual power and privileges and they're being replaced by a younger generation. So, communication is not key to a relationship. Respect is. The female has a dark shadow as well, and yes, she wants to have good sex with attractive males. 1, 2, 3, whatever. Yet here's the catch. Women aren't stupid. I would actually even say that a lot of women are a lot more intelligent than men because they have to. A Kenner shadow, which is the most powerful of all drives, respect a man that allows her to be a whore. No. Excuse me. Kenner shadow, respect a man that allows her to be a 304. We have to keep it decent, no? Like apex primates are not very fond of other men fucking their girl. So if you allow this because you're enlightened, my argument is she loses all respect for you. There's a category on this on porn sites, by the way, if you want to look it up. The counter argument, of course, would be that a man who doesn't care who sticks his cock in his girlfriend, hopefully with a condom, has reached a level of Zen mastery that I am very jealous of. Okay, up to part 5.